Good day, folks. Thank you so much for joining us once again today. We have with us Faizan Khan. He came to Canada pretty recently, a very interesting story to tell. So, without having me to introduce him any further, let's have Faizan. Faizan, if you could uh, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Saad for giving me the chance to talk about myself. I'll start with my graduation. I graduated in 2010 from GIK. I specialize in control systems engineering, and shortly after, I started working uh, in IT and SAP as a project engineer. Um, I felt the need to go back to my roots as a control systems engineer. So, a year and a half down the line, I went for my master's in the UK, learned about the sensor technologies and micro systems. Came back, started working for a food and beverages company, Mondelez. I worked there for a couple of years, and in 2015, I started applying for my, for the immigration to Canada thing. And right at the same time, I was also applying for jobs in Netherlands. Um, so yeah, in the whole thing transpired. I got my permission to land in I think it was August 2015. So I decided to move to Canada. Um, what I did was I started the process of internal transfer at Mondelez while I was there, and it didn't actually transpire. So I gave a couple of interviews before leaving for Canada, and when I came to Canada, I gave my final interview. I waited for like a couple of weeks, but they were a bit slow, and there was no response coming back. So I thought, okay, let's not waste any time. And I already have an offer sitting in Netherlands, so let's just go to Netherlands and start working over there. So yeah, I went back to Netherlands. I started working as a project engineer for a very large company that does baggage handling systems for airports around the world. And while working there, it gave me a chance to work on some of the very notable projects in the industry. I'm proud to say that I worked for the Changi International Airport in Singapore, and most recently I worked for the Istanbul new airport. Uh, and that was fantastic. Gave me a lot of gave me an opportunity to learn about a lot of new things. Um, so while I was in Netherlands, I thought, before my residency expires, let's try to dip your toes in the water again, see what happens. And I started applying for roles again. And because of my prior project experience, one of the companies reached out to me and they offered a role. Uh, there was a bit of back and forth, and eventually I accepted the job offer in, I think, October 2017, and within the next 3 weeks, I just wrapped everything up and I moved to Canada. So November 2017, I was back here again, and I was working for that company. Started working as a project manager at the Toronto Pearson International Airport. CAPEX revitalization projects, a couple of new projects at the Kingston Airport and the Hamilton Airport as well. Um, but yeah, so when you're working for as a project manager in a niche industry and you're wearing too many hats, and your client is a government body, the phones never stop ringing. So it started getting in the way of my personal life as well, and I thought, okay, let's just switch to a different industry, whereas it's a bit more peaceful, and it would help my family a lot as well. It was getting in the way of my personal life. So yeah, I started applying for jobs again, and I did appear for my PMP exam, and that helped me a lot. So I would advise the people to pursue different certifications that are relevant to their streams, and you know pursue that. Appear for those exams. That really does help. Boost your skills and bolster your resume as a whole. The second thing that I did was I modeled my CV according to the standards that we're using here in Canada. People tend to apply with the same resume again and again. They don't tailor the resume for specific jobs, and I think that's one of the crucial mistakes that we make. So yeah, I switched jobs last year in May, and I started working for one of the largest pharmaceuticals here in Canada as a project manager, and it's been a fantastic experience since.
Nice,
There's
interesting.
lots to
So,
learn.
Absolutely. So tell me one thing about when you had how you had an internal transfer and it didn't materialize. Like, what happened there then? When you
So
landed here, it did not transpire. What happened?
so I gave a couple of interviews. I reached out to my human resources in North America, and I told them that I want to move to Canada. If there's a relevant position, would you please consider me? And they said, yeah, sure, why not? They started the interview process. I gave a couple of interviews. It was for the continuous improvement manager. I was working there as a continuous improvement manager, and for the final interview, I came here. I timed it in such a way that I was landing here and I was leaving for Netherlands as well. So it's like a really short window. So I came here. I gave my interview. It went really well, and then I waited for like a couple of weeks before I said, okay, let's just move to Netherlands and wait it out there. But that they sort of like closed the position at that point in time. They were restructuring and moving most of their manufacturing to mega sites like Bahrain and India. So there was a bit of cost cutting and stuff like that. So they closed the position and nothing transpired. So thankfully I was in Netherlands at that time and I did wait around. So yeah.
So that's good to know. But anyway, with one last thing, if you could tell us, Faizan, and that is, what advice would you give to folks who are just coming out to Canada or already arrived here? Because you've spent 3, 4 years over here, you've navigated your way through your careers. What is the advice that you would give to all those individuals?
There's a couple of things that I would like to tell them. Now, I've already mentioned that make sure that your CV is up to date and it's modeled. It's compatible with the standards that we use here in Canada. Number one. Number two, try to pursue. And try to appear for those exams. This relevant certifications to your field. If you're a conventional project manager, go for the PMP. If you're into agile, find the relevant certification for that. If you are an engineer, go for the PEng exam. It's really helpful. It's not going to guarantee that you get a job, but it definitely helps you, identify yourself, amongst a crowd of a pool of candidates that are sitting on the table of some HR person. Um, Thirdly, and I know the economy is not that good, and because of the COVID-19, it's really bad. You might not get a reply. You apply for 10 jobs, 20 jobs, 30 jobs, and you tend to lose steam. You get frustrated and despondent. As a saying goes, and you might have seen the X Files. One of the protagonists say that, swim like a shark. Don't stop swimming. And if you think about it, a shark has to keep swimming because it has to keep the water flowing through the gills. Otherwise, it would suffocate. So keep swimming, keep applying. Don't lose that steam. Take a bit of break in the middle if you have to. Don't just apply for like 60 jobs in one night and then get frustrated. Just apply for 10 jobs at a time. Wait it out, and hopefully it will work out for you. Hopefully you will find the role that is relevant to your requirements. And good luck with that.
That's very good advice actually, and I see that happening. People apply for a lot of positions and then they stop. I think the major thing is consistency. Anyway, thank you so much, Fazan, for your time today, and we'll share your LinkedIn profile with folks. And if there's anybody who wants to reach out, I'm sure they would be fine. You would be
More
fine
than
with
happy
doing
to.
that.
More than
And
happy.
thank you again for your time. Thank you.
Thank you.